The 2025 Ram is better than ever, but their sales say otherwise. We're going to talk about that in this video. I borrowed this Laramie from Larry H. Miller Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram here in Sandy, Utah. This truck is available for sale. Let's go ahead and check out the window sticker so you guys can see pricing on this truck. At the very top is a description, and base price is $63,880. And here's a short listing of all the standard equipment. Be sure to pause it. Starting off the options is the Sport Appearance package, and then this one does have the Laramie Level 1 Equipment Group for $395, front and rear rubber mats for $215, and this one does have the Max Tow, which is the $392 rear axle. Trailer brake was $295. Destination is $1995 with a total price of $68,970, and here are the affiliate comment numbers off to the side. Now I'm pretty sure some people are going to chime in and say pricing. Some people are going to just say that Stellantis is just not a good company. And maybe they're right, I don't know. I will answer that question at the end of the video, but I want to show you guys around this Laramie Sport. This is my first time actually seeing one, and this is a good looking truck. Now when you get the Sport package, as you guys saw, it does pretty much paint the bumpers, the grille, changes the mirror caps, gives you the Sport Performance hood, and overall it just gives it a nicer design, because otherwise you would just get a lot of chrome like that. And for some people, this is just a better look. Now, here's the Sport Performance hood. You have these heat extractors right here. And here's some of the badging. LED headlights and fog lights. They are reflective style. They are using incandescent turn signals here. And you guys see those parking sensors. There is no forward camera. And that's an option that I've seen missing on a lot of Ram trucks. Even on the Limited, it is an option. Adaptive cruise control sensors down there. And here's a quick peek at the suspension. Double wishbone. Coilover setup. And then here's that liner. It's all finished in plastic. They did add your fender flares back for 2025. They took them away for a brief moment last year, and I think that it just makes the truck look so much nicer. Now these are the Bridgestone Dueler tires, and you have a 20-inch wheel, 6 slug. And then here is the tire size: 275, 55, 20, and then max capacity for each tire is going to be 2,535 pounds. 44 psi is max inflation. And here are those mirror caps finished in black too. This is what I hope they do for the HDs. Give those tow mirrors like that painted trim just to kind of break up all that plastic. Side view of the truck looks great. No running boards. And this truck doesn't sit that high either. I do like the wheel design for these two. Painted door handles. And that does come standard actually. I had to look back at the other truck to make sure. But smart key systems right here. And you guys will see you have a light here. A little bit of condensation buildup in there too, by the way. And I believe this has a 23-gallon fuel tank, because you can upgrade it to a 33-gallon. And I strongly recommend that option every time. You have that multi-link rear suspension. This is a standard bed. More painted bumpers out back. Now these taillights are downgraded from last year's. They're just incandescent bulbs in there. Parking sensors down below. Dual exhaust, class 4 hitch. You still have some bright chrome emblems on the truck too. And that's not what the Sport Appearance package does. It doesn't black out anything. It's just giving you a little bit more sportier appearance. Now there is a light right here. Backup camera, assisted tailgate, and you have the bed lights too. No power, but that is available. You can get up to 2,000 watts or a 400 watt plug too. Tailgate is not heavy at all, and they do give you license plate lights that are LED. And then here is that rear axle. As you guys saw, I had a 392. You can get a locker on the Laramie. Donut style, spare tire. And then here's just a side view of the truck here. This is the standard engine for the Laramie. You cannot get the high output. you would have to move up to a limited trim level. And I will admit, you might have to cross shop the Laramie now, because these get pretty pricey right now. 420 horsepower, 469 pound-feet of torque, aluminum heads and block, overbuilt engine for the most part, 0W20 oil, and what's behind this engine is a 8 HP 75 transmission, 8-speed, and the standard axle ratio for this truck is going to be a 355. I recommend just staying there because you have so much more horsepower and torque for this engine. You don't really need the lower gearing. Now with the 5.7, because I am a little bit higher above elevation, I probably would just go ahead and option it with the 392, especially the fact that for the 5.7 they had a 321 axle ratio on that truck. That might make more sense to get the 392 unless you don't plan on towing at all. The interior did not get a huge upgrade for this refresh, but I will say they did make some nice upgrades. Now they still have this suede material on the door. You guys see that wood and this satin finish. Soft touch, all in the right places. Auto up and down front windows, and you have to hold it for up and down for the rear. Power folding outside mirrors, and notice that they are heated, blind spot. Also you have convex on both sides. I don't know why more manufacturers don't give that to you. If you're towing a trailer, those come in really handy. A little bit of storage in the pocket right there, and then down below you have a bottle holder. 10-way driver's seat, more suede, which was what they did for the 2024 and earlier pickups too. Tilt headrest comes standard. Perforated leather, tilt telescoping steering wheel. And then here's some of the lighting controls. You have power pedals and electronic parking brake right here. Let's go ahead and check out the passenger side. 10-way seat, grab handle on both sides by the way too. And this dash is like a vinyl material. It's soft touch, Alpine sound system, and great storage. They do illuminate this area. Most manufacturers don't give that to you. And then down below is your glove box, more storage on the side, but all this is hard plastic though. Here's that center console with that Ram badge, a little bit of stitching. And these seats are pretty big. Check out that cushion right there. Wide, and I would say it's pretty long too. And Ram seats are not the softest, they're not the hardest, they're like perfectly done. I think most people will find these seats to be comfortable. Out back, biggest cab in the rear in my opinion. I think that this is huge. You have these removable trays, and you have tie downs too. True flat floor surface, and the floor is actually a lot shorter too, so your legs aren't in your stomach. You have those 4 USBs, 115 volt power plug, outboard heated seats, air vents, cup holders. They also give you a really nice center armrest if no one's sitting in the center here, with some storage. Check this out. You can also recline these seats too. A little bit of storage that you can set up with this, and they still have that same storage on the opposite side. And just to show you guys really quickly how much recline you get. So it's enough to get you comfortable. Defrost out back with that power sliding glass. There's also some speakers on the roof. Black liner too, by the way, which I like. Let's go ahead and jump back over to the driver's seat. Push button start. And notice how you don't have a full screen for your gauge cluster, so you still have the analog gauges, and some people like that too. I think most people would probably not carry the way. This is how you control this screen. You now have drive mode for 2025, so we'll just go through them really quickly. So you can see the off-road. I don't know why it takes so long to get it to work, but yeah, snow, tow, sport, off-road, and automatic. And you now have four-wheel drive automatic too. Auto stop start, and you still have that dial for your gear selector. You also have a regular shifter too in some of the trim levels too. 12-inch display on this side. This screen right here is a 7-inch by the way too. No heads-up display on this one either. Nice wood trimming up here. Now earlier the screen was, and it still is, the screen is actually frozen. But it still works. Like some of the, you can see things working on it, but you can't touch it. So I guess somehow, some way, it must just need to be reset. That's my first time actually seeing that happen. Now, you have the trailer brake down below, traction control. You can disable front and rear parking sensors separately, which I like. Wireless charger, deep storage, 115 volt power plug. This does slide. You have cup holders and a coin holder with some storage. Deep storage back here. And then this is the top storage with the USB. That's for charging only. It's not going to work off the screen. Also 12 volt power plug right there. Home link system up top. Place here for your sunshades. LED interior lighting. And then here's some of your controls. You can slide that rear glass. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about this Ram truck. You guys know I love to blame everything on the government, right? There's not a lot of trucks having a hard time selling. I think GM, and that's GMC and Chevy included, they're having a pretty good sales year. I would say also Ford, they typically do well. I think there might have been a few instances where they were down just a little bit, but for the most part, Ram is just struggling. I think that the people who buy Ram trucks are different from the people who buy GM and Ford. See, right now, currently, GM is still offering 2 V8s. Ford has 1, but Ram has none. Now, obviously, a lot of people who buy Ford don't normally get that 5-liter Coyote because the EcoBoost is a better contender, but they've had it around for, what, a decade? And that's why people are used to buying those trucks. But when you bring it back over to Ram, a lot of people are having a hard time considering this truck when they're so used to having a naturally aspirated V8. And don't get me wrong, I too would have a hard time wanting the inline 6 for the first model year. But I will say, as time goes, more people will start to receive this engine, especially when they see that it's going to be reliable. Hopefully that's the case. But I do believe the reason why Ram is having a hard time is because of the credits. I've done a video on where the manufacturers have to sell a certain amount of EVs in order to continue to build V8s. And in this case here, this Ram truck no longer has a V8 because the CEO of Stellantis decided they weren't going to continue to buy them from Tesla. Therefore, there's no more V8s. And I think that's why a lot of people are having a hard time buying these trucks, because you don't have what has always been what they bought. And they're having a hard time deciding whether they want to go to a 6-cylinder pickup truck. But let's go ahead and check out the payload number and the numbers on the door, and that'll pretty much end the video. Gross axle rating out front is going to be 3,900 pounds. The rear is 4,100 pounds, which is class leading for standard. 7,100 pound gross vehicle weight rating, and the wheels are going to be 20 by 9 wide. All-in payload is 1,646 pounds. Now that's pretty high for a Ram, because normally you see them around 1,400 pounds, but this truck doesn't have running boards. Twin panel moonroof is not there. No spray in bed liner. And I would venture to say that even a power plug outlet could potentially lower that number too. But overall, having that much payload is pretty dang good for a half-ton. I like to see 2,000 pounds, but that's very rare in the half-ton segment. I hope you guys liked the video. I think that Ram has some work to do overall. As far as quality goes, you get a good one, you get a bad one. I think that Ram is probably one of the more reliable ones out there. I don't hear a lot of people complaining about reliability for these trucks, even though you have a lot of people in the comment section that know everything and they say that they're junk. I don't see it. I mean, every once in a while you get one truck that has a screen issue, but that's not normal. I mean, I've jumped in 100 of these trucks, and it's like the first time I actually had that happen to me. But again, if you would like to purchase a truck from Larry H. Miller, be sure to reach out to them, let them know you saw the video. See you guys soon.